It is time once again for the weekly closes on our favorite Bitcoin miners. But before we get going on that, I have one piece of news to announce here. MicroStrategy will be added to the NASDAQ 100, so it will be in the QQQ going forward. It's going to start on December 23rd. Get ready for some rocket boosters on MicroStrategy again as that constant bid from the QQQ comes in on MicroStrategy, and tons of funds have to buy it simply because it's part of the index. So get ready for that. MicroStrategy is about to get interesting one more time this year. So keep that in your mind for next week and the week after. Basically going through the end of the year, probably through January, we're going to see some pretty sweet moves up. If you remember Palantir at all, it's been getting added to indexes and getting just absolutely boosted to the moon. And now it's been pretty fun. So expect maybe not exactly the same performance, but something similar from MicroStrategy going forward due to this inclusion. All right. Moving on. So CleanSpark here. We are on the weekly here. You can see CleanSpark is not doing so hot this week. It was down 19.71%, which is pretty rough, especially considering that they announced those convertible notes. They announced a buyback, and they just got clobbered as a result of it. You'll notice that the warrants held strong, though, so that's kind of a hint there that those buying the warrants aren't too concerned about this movement in the underlying stock. Anyways, let's take a look here. So you can see that we have been for months now, since August, we've been in this channel here. We've been going to the top and the bottom of this channel here. We're currently at the bottom, which means we're likely at support at this time right now. And there's probably not too much downside left, hopefully. Let's turn on this. All right, where are we at? Now, we did close beneath, that sucks. Woo. We did close beneath the 21 and the 200-week moving averages. So these are things that are holding us back. Notice how we never got a nice candle cleanly above the 200-week moving average. We need that. We need a candle cleanly above the 200-week moving average in order to get out of this funk. Okay, that's necessary. Turn off some of my drawings there. So we got to get above $14.04. We have to. Until we do that, CleanSpark is going to be a bit. It's going to be a bit weak. It's going to be a bit weak until we get above that resistance point. Once we clear that, we should have room up. I mean, especially with all the news they're coming out with. So this is what gets me. CleanSpark is improving in my mind. Oh, it's my alarm. CleanSpark is improving in my mind as a company, right? They're meeting their exahash goals. They're doing it often faster than they say they're going to. Their treasury of Bitcoin is quite large. It's not the largest, but it is large. It's closing in on 10,000 Bitcoin. Okay. They're moving away from ATMs and dilution with this move for convertible notes. And yes, I know that means future dilution, but it's pushed off to 2030. It's not dilution right now or dilution, sometime in the next 6 months. It's years off. So that's an improvement in my mind to what their previous methods of gathering cash. So I'm seeing this thing falling apart on the chart while the underlying like the fundamentals, if you will, and I know these are generally not fundamental plays, but bear with me for a moment. Those are improving, and that just doesn't ring true. So I'm not losing my conviction on CleanSpark yet. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. Anyways, moving on to Btbt, Bit All right, let's go to Bit. Woo, look at this thing. This thing has been just in a climb. Look at this, just a nice grind up. It's just a grind up for Bit. I like the grind up more so than the shoot up. The grind up tells me that we still have, okay, so I'm looking at this time period in time right back here. The summer 2023, notice how it's a bit of a grind up. And then near the end of it, it's just one giant move up real fast. That's what I'm looking at here. We have our grind up, and I'm looking for one big move up to like $7-8, something like that for Bit. If we go over here, that's a bit high, but yeah, that's way too high. Let's do a 3-day to get my thought on that one. That's not quite high enough. So yeah, I'd be looking at it coming above the 3-day cloud here, maybe 750 on this after it's like grinding up, and then just like one blow off top, and then we're done for a few months. That's what I'm looking at here for Bit Digital. I'd like to see it take out this high here at 579. Now, if we lose the 21-week moving average, then I would say Bit Digital is done for the cycle. Not for the cycle, for the season. And then I'd be waiting sometime around spring to look at it again. Let me see what's going on with my drawings on here. Yeah, so we got that channel. It was doing a megaphone. I don't think it'll be doing this anymore. I really don't. All right. I still want to see it interact with this line up here, which now is going to be up at 612 next week. I'd really like to see Bit Digital interact with that line up there. That is what I'm waiting for on Bit Digital. And as Ethereum climbs up in price, I do expect it to eventually get up there. Okay, so we go on to Bitfarms. Bitfarms, it's looking bad. It's still not looking good. This thing's down 15.72%. This one's got a different issue. Now, like, I understand that they're doing decent with a lot of their roadmaps. My problem, as always, is the fact that, look at Riot. Riot's up big time. And we'll look at that next. Over the week, over the month. Well, Bitfarms lags behind. Riot's not a particularly good Bitcoin miner these days. But they're getting way more attention. They're getting that institutional buy-in. They're getting, like, big partnerships are coming through. And Bitfarms is suffering because Riot owns 20% of their company. And basically you have exposure to this company if you have exposure to Riot. So that's what's been really dragging this thing along. Honestly, yeah. So I'm not really looking at Bitfarms until it's over $2.30. Anything below $2.30, I'm not sure, like, because I can't tell when this might break out. No clue when this could break out. Now, it should be soon. It should be, but it is lagging behind its peers now, and that's not good. That's not good at all. It needs to get above 230 to really say I'm back for now on this one, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about Bitfarms. It's beneath all the moving averages. Momentum is disagreeing with that. You can see down on the average force, it's going up. The stochastic ribbons aren't looking great, but they're not in a terrible spot. But the price action just isn't doing anything. And until it's over the 200-week moving average, I would probably not be too interested. And of course, you'll leave some profit on the table if you do that. But that's what happens. I mean, that's just part of being patient, part of paying attention to the chart, listening to it. Sometimes it doesn't give you a signal until after it's, put an extra 10%, 15% onto the price. And then it says, okay, now I'm giving you some clear signals. So that's just the game. All right, moving on to Mara. Well, actually, we'll look at Riot real quick. See, so this is the comparison. Riot was actually up 0.3% last week. And you can see Riot, since September, has been in just a drive upward, whereas Bitfarms has been in sideways action, sideways to down action since September, right? September, it's kind of just going sideways, whereas Riot is in a clear uptrend since in that same time period. So, yep. And Riot is above the 200-week moving average right there, and it's holding above it. Now, I don't love these candles. I'd like to see next week's candle stay completely away from it, kind of like last week's candle did, or the week before it did, to get some kind of feeling for Riot. But this is good. This is a bull flag. It's coming up. It's got a bull flag. If you want to see where the bull flag likely will end, we can go down here to the bottom of the pole there, go up to the top of the pole there, about right there. So about 1980, about $19.80. That could be a new cycle high for seasonal high, new seasonal high for Riot in this situation. And the momentum agrees. The momentum absolutely agrees. It's all upward on the average force. It's all upward on the stochastic ribbons. Riot is actually set up in a really, really nice way, much like it did back here in April, right, where it went up, made that bull flag, and then went higher. Let's see if our measurement worked out on that one. Yeah, worked out. Our measurement on that works out perfectly. Went right up to the top of it, even a little bit more higher than that. So, yeah, we could see 1980 here on Riot pretty easily here in the next couple of weeks or month or two. So Riot is primed to go higher. Bitfarms is looking like it's completely content just going sideways. And that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, anyways, Mara. Let's take a look at Mara. How's Mara doing? Mara, ooh, the momentum is actually looking good. This looks like it could be a bull flag right here. So like we came down and then we could be moving back right back up into that $30 range. That would be so good for my calls. Those are suffering. I'm down about 40% on my calls here. That the newest ones I've gotten into, I'm down about 40% on. Since I got in on this candle here early in the week, right? Started getting in about 26 after it went to 30, and it came all the way down to 22, and I've been buying all the way down because I have conviction in Riot. I have conviction tomorrow. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. It's just what I'm doing with these stocks based on the price action I am seeing on these charts. Yeah, so we came to the center. Oh, well, we came about to the center. We never detached from the center of this ascending channel here. Now we're heading back to the bottom. I hope we don't come all the way to the bottom. This is looking very cuppy and handily. Let me go ahead and do that right here. Like, do a nice little scoop and then dupe. And as soon as we get back up above 28, we might even see this thing go up into the mid 30s. So that would be really, really cool. I'd be really, really happy if Mara went all the way up into the mid 30s, somewhere up here. Let me turn that off. Somewhere up here, like maybe 35, 36 off of this cup and handle, which it could do because let's go ahead and do this. We go here, we go to the brim of the cup, somewhere about right there. Yeah, that could take us up to $40. This cup and handle could, if it works out, could take us up to $40. Of course, now price would have to get up and above at least $27, $28 to do that and start closing candles up there on the weekly. But yeah, I mean, it could happen. Now that's not to say that we have not seen plenty of failed cups and handles on Mara. There's one right back here, right? We came up, it looked like this was going to be a handle, and it just dipped further and is doing another one. Now that you could say this is a double bottom, and as soon as we start trading above $26, this could be launching us up to $40 as well. So it could be a two bullish patterns nesting together. And then we have this cup and handle back here, right? We have this big old scoop, and then it came down, and then it went up just a little bit higher, and then it came right back down to support. So we've seen a decent amount of failed cups and handles on Mara, but it's still there. And this time it's matched with a double bottom. So let's see if it can get up and above 26, 28 next week or the week after, and then drive all the way up to $40. That would be awesome. But the momentum does agree that it could do these things. The momentum is looking nice. Look at how much smaller this volume candle is compared to this doji. So this was just like no buyers at all last week, just none. Look at that. The volume was terrible. By comparison, let's see, where's it at? So we had 311 million of volume versus 425 million of volume. Yeah. So there you go. Okay, let's move on to Iren. Iren, how fun you've been to trade. Iren, and remember, we came all the way down on this thing, started buying under 10, and then have just been riding it up. My average cost is like $7 on Iren. Anyways, Iren came all the way up to $16 and then dumped 14.81% this week. Momentum, though, is still with us. So I'm not too concerned about this. I do like this scoop here. I really do like this scoop a lot right there. And this angle is not too aggressive, unlike back here in May when it was like crazy aggressive. So the angle is not horribly aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised as long as to see it up at $18, $19, $20 in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Look at the 5-week moving average. As long as we hold that 5-week moving average at 1282, I'm very bullish on Iren and will continue to be so. I'd like to see it. It took out that high ever so slightly, but I want to see it be a little more decisive on taking out that high. But if we get a red candle next week, I'm going to be a little bit upset with Iren, and I'm going to have to start making some choices because we're getting to that point in the season where it's time to start hunting tops because they are going to be coming in quite soon. Anytime in the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see a top for the cycle for the season, not the cycle for the season. I keep saying the cycle for the season. You're likely to see a top for the season here in the next 4 to 6 weeks, probably around the time of inauguration for the new president. So keep your eyes out. Look for toppy candles. Watch for them. If you see a toppy candle, it's probably a top. All right. Let's take a look at Corz. How's Corz doing? So Corz did lose the 5-week moving average. All right. So if next week opens beneath 1632 and closes beneath 1632, we've got a date with a 21-day moving average down at $13.27. This might be one of those very rare time periods where Corz actually gives something back and takes us to the bottom of the range, in this case 1332. All right, or 1327. 1327. So look for that next week. That could be a buying opportunity on Corz. just like it did back here, right, in August, where it dipped below the 5-week moving average just for 1 week to touch the 21 and then went on a rampage. This is looking very similar. Could come down, hit the 21 week, and then just go on another rampage back up into the mid 20s even. So watch that for Corz if that's something you are into. Corz is getting very, very interesting right now and potentially going to give us an opportunity to actually pick some up. Let's take a look at Wulf. How's Wulf doing? Same sort of scenario as Corz right now. It's been on just an absolute tear. And then we gave up the 5-week moving average last week, so we would be looking for a date with the 21-day or the 21-week moving average. The momentum over here tends to potentially agree with us. It's getting kind of wispy up there on the stochastic ribbons, and we've got the average force, which is also starting to come down. So 587, I would say, somewhere around 587, potentially coming all the way down to $5. So don't be surprised if it actually overshoots that and hits $5 and then takes off, because Wulf does tend to overshoot the 21-day moving or 21-week moving average and then slingshot back. So don't be surprised if it hits $5 and then starts slingshotting out of that on Wulf. But to the upside, if we can take out 929, yeah, we'd be looking at coming up to, 10 to $12 for Wulf there, if we were to get like a blow off top on that. Let's take a look at Hut. How's Hut doing? Hut's holding the 5-week moving average. So I'm actually not too concerned about this. As long and the average force is going the right way. The momentum ribbons look like they could be making a bull flag potentially. But as long as we hold the 5-week moving average, we're golden. As soon as we lose it, we're coming way down. So if we lose the 5-week moving average, Hut could drop about 30% down to the 21-week moving average at 1867. And remember, Hut is also one that likes to overshoot it, so don't be surprised if you saw Hut come down like even 50% from its peak if it were to lose the 5-week moving average before slingshotting back up again. So don't be surprised to see it dump even like 50% real fast and then slingshot back up. It's done it several times here just in the last year, right? December 2023, we made a nice blow off top candle, came down how much? We came down 66%, and then hung out there for 6 months and then went up big time and then did a nice little dumperoo down to 57% and then slingshot it back up again. And oh, look, here's another one. It went up, gave us a nice blow off top, came down how much? 62% before going up again. So don't be surprised at all to see these things drop 50-60% throughout the seasons before coming back up again, and that's why I churn them and don't hold them. So that's why I'm looking for tops, and I am actively looking for tops right now. So don't be surprised if you see one. Cifr lost the 5-week moving average. So Cifr, you got a date with the 21-week moving average probably. Now, if next week opens up above the 5-week moving average and drives above it, yeah, it's not going to lose it, but we open up anywhere under 646 and we close the week anywhere under 646, and 534 is going to be our new buddy. And it's probably going to come down to the 200-week moving average since they're so close. I wouldn't be surprised. It's like a big, heavy, it's like a strong magnet, that 200-week moving average, and it's hit it so many times. On this drive up, that 200-week has been just it's true north every time. So it goes up, comes in, down to it, goes up, comes down to it, goes up, comes down to it, goes up, comes down to it, goes up one more time, comes down to it, and now it went way up. Didn't quite take out this high, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back down to here. And now it is doing a bit of a bull flag. So if it gets up and above $7.20, it's going to go higher. Keep that in mind. It's going to go higher. It's going to do a blow off top if it gets above $7.20. If it goes anywhere beneath 646 or stays anywhere beneath 646 next week and does not conquer 646 next week, well, then you better believe that we're going to go to sub $5 on Cifr. Okay. Has Hive broken that line yet? I need my drawings to see it. No, so it's not interesting to me. Hive. Yeah, it's coming down to the 21-week where it could reload and go and make another attempt at this. So Hive might be trying to make another attempt at this line up here at 546, which would, from current price, represent a 44% increase in price. So that's pretty cool. Hive has a potential 44% increase in price to the upside. On the downside, it could come, the lowest I'd see it going is the 200-week moving average down at 335, which would be a 12% dump. So 12% risk to a 44% potential return. That's actually not bad. Hive's actually probably in a pretty good spot right now to give you a decent return compared to some of its peers. Since it's still above the 200-week moving average, this does look a bit like a bull flag. It's coming up, going sideways a little bit, and then if it could drive just a little higher, get above back above 450, we'd see it drive all the way up to 550 to give you that dollar move out of Hive. So, you know, about 1,000 of those, that's $1,000, and probably do it in like a week or two. Wouldn't be too surprised, but of course it's got to get above that 450 first. Otherwise, I'm not really too convinced of the move. But yeah, it does look like a bull flag. Cifr does look like it's prepared, or not Cifr, Hive. This is Hive. Hive looks like it's prepared to go up and try to test this line one more time. All right, so Luna, the lotto play. What did it do this week? It did bad. It did real bad. It's down 24.51% this week. Okay, that sucks. It dropped beneath that, so this thing could come as low as $2. Could go as low as $2, maybe even down to the bottom Bollinger at 198. So like I said, this is a lot of play. Hopefully no one put much of anything in this at all, and it's just for funsies and was, you know, gambling money basically, because this is exactly what I feared could happen, which is why I kept my position super tiny on Slnh. And we'll look out for next week, see if it's gonna start breaking out or not. Who knows? It's below the 200-week moving average. It's below the 21-week moving average. It's below everything. It's in a really bad spot where it currently is. But this is one of those ones that's so tiny and it's easily manipulated up in a big way. So I'm not too concerned about it. Plus, I put barely any money into it anyways. So I'm not really concerned. I'd write this thing to 0. I don't care. But 0 or hero. And it's looking like a 0 right now. But we'll see. It might pop back up. This thing tends to spring to life like all of a sudden. Like right back here gave us that big dip. And then it gave us a little green candle, and then it just went flat for a little while and took off. So we might see something like that. That'd be pretty fun. Let's take a look at Canan. Whoa, Canan. That is aggressive. So honestly, so as long as this is holding the 5-week moving average at 240, I don't necessarily think I would sell it, but I would be looking for a top real soon on this thing. It is so aggressive, and it came way up, gave back a good amount of it, but buyer stepped in here at the 5-day moving average. I'd watch that 5-day moving, or 5-week moving average. Excuse me, I keep saying day. 5-week moving average. You lose that, and we're going to come down in a big way. From that, it would from current move, it'd be a minimum of 32, potentially coming as much down as 43% off of the 5-week moving average, especially since we're so far off of the top ATR band. Let's take a look. How far are we off of it? We're 16% off of it. We've gone as high as like 20-something% off of the ATR band. That's pretty toppy looking, in my opinion. So I'd probably say that I'd be cautious here. I would definitely be cautious here for that. Let's take a look at Bitdeer. How's Bitdeer doing? Same scenario. It gave us a doji though, so this one's undecided. Doesn't really know which way it wants to go. But it came down to the top ATR band, went up, drove up higher. This is very aggressive right now. I would. I mean, it doesn't mean it can't keep going up, but it looks like that's higher above the top ATR band than it's ever been before. So I'd be watching this close. I'd be real cautious here. This does to me, I'd probably get out of this, honestly. I personally, because especially if you were buying on these lows that lasted from July until November, right, at 786, and you drove up 163% in just like 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, I'd be getting off that train. Personally, it's a bit nuts. And it doesn't mean it can't go higher, but man, it's above the ATR band like crazy. It's showing me doji candles after this big green candle. The 5-week moving average is all the way down here, 20% down. And it's a very good chance it's going to come back down and at least tap that 5-week moving average before going much higher. I could be wrong, of course, but that's my opinion. I would personally, in my own account, I would be taking some profits out of this strength. I'd be selling that strength there right now, personally. So anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Don't sleep on the sticker shop. That link is also in the description and channel bio. And if you're feeling in a giving mood, a friend of mine is still taking donations for his cycling for Tourette's and cancer research. So that link is also in the description as well. And with that said, please have a profitable day.